Hello everyone, welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott, and then this video is the first installment of some tactical-ish antennas that you can use within your cruise and mags and however else you need. Today we're going to start with the VHF UHF antennas and how to increase your, we'll just say, talk power. And one way to do that is to use a bigger antenna and get it higher up off the ground. Now, as you can see, this is a Baofeng antenna on a Baofeng radio. It's not very high. These aren't a very efficient antenna, but they work fairly close. But if you want to get somewhat further away, you need to get your antenna higher up off the ground so we could have a better view of things, better to see. So, and this antenna I'm going to show you will also work if you have a mobile antenna in your car. You can disconnect the mobile antenna from your radio and then hook this antenna right up to it. So we'll talk about the components of the radio, of the antenna. And what I have here is what's called a Slim Jim antenna. I keep it permanently attached to about 50 foot of coax. It's made from ladder line, and it is matched to the amateur radio bands of 2 meters and 440. So you have 144 megahertz and 440 megahertz in one antenna. As you see, this antenna is much bigger, and it does put out a good signal. You can get plans for these on the internet, or you can buy them. This is a Slim Jim. Another antenna is a ladder line J-pole antenna, and I'll at least put the names. There's a lot of different people that make a lot of different versions of these, or you can make them yourself, just depending on how crafty you are feeling for the day. So this is the antenna I use. I actually had this antenna as a permanent installation for a while when I was up in Virginia, and it works very well. Now, I talked about elevation, and I have two ways to elevate your antenna. This is what's called a push-up pole. It is 33 foot. And we'll actually hoist it up today. But you can see this is the end of it, and it just keeps going up. It is self-supporting. It will stand by itself, and I'm going to show you how I hook it up to my truck and how I hook up the antenna to it. I'll leave this up because I need to have that much out anyhow. So there's one way, and you can tie this to a post in the ground, tie it to a fence post. You can have somebody hold it if you need to communicate. But it does go up 33 foot. It is pretty high. It only weighs a couple pounds, so it is man-packable. If you wanted something a little less, this is a B&M's, that's Bravo and Mike. And I'll get a little close here. This is a fishing pole. That's all it is. It's a 20-foot fishing pole. However, you know, for a tactical team who just needs to get a little bit higher up in the air, this is a good antenna for that. And then instead of having a 50-foot piece of coax attached to your antenna, you only need a 25-footer, because it just has to come down long enough to get to right here. The radio I'm going to use today is a Baofeng, and you have to get an adapter to go from the standard coax connector to the Baofeng. These are about $5. And so the other things, I use black tape. We'll get to this in just a minute. I keep some parachute cord. This is right out of my communications kit. And then another thing I have is a radio. This is how I can mount my antennas to my truck. If you will notice, this hole fits through here. This one kind of fits in here. It's a little awkward right now. There it goes. But it fits. They both fit. When I moved this last time, I lost the caps to this one. I'm still trying to get replacements. But what I do with this is I can place it here, and then if I really have to, I can drive over it, and it gives me a permanent place, or not permanent, but a more sturdy place when I raise my antennas up. Now, sometimes I can just get away with just kind of tucking it under a little bit. I'm going to try and do that today. Alright, so when we're going to use the big one today, so I'm going to put this over here out of the way. And so when I set up my antenna, what I do is I have a little clip up here that I hook the antenna to, and then I run the antenna along. Now what I do with this, because if you see, if I don't do something, you see how that bends a little bit? And so what I do is I take some electrical tape. Again, this is out of my kit. And I just take off a little chunk, and then in a couple places I just loosely wrap it 2 or 3 times. I actually got more tape in here what I need, and then I fold it in half, because that is temporary. And I'll do this probably today, probably just 2 spots is all they'll need. And what that does is it lets the or it helps the antenna to stay somewhat straight. All right. Alright, so now that I've done that, I need to do the other half. This is kind of a two-step problem. Alright. So what I'm going to do, see, that'll go like that. What I'm going to do from here, alright, let me turn my back on you, but I'm going to take some of this. Okay. I'm going to pause a second and get myself a little step stool. I usually have one, I just forgot to get it. It's right in the shed. Don't go away. Alright, I'm back again. I made a tactical error. I'm going to cut that tape and then kind of redo it a little bit. I thought I can get away with just kind of snubbing it under the tire, but I can't. You actually have to drive over it, which I did. However, the tie-up is the same. I tied it to there, the clove hitch to there, back around, and then 2 half hitches. The other thing I did is I added another row of tape just to give a little more support when raising this up. So from here, I've got my cable kind of untangled, and now I'm going to use my step stool again for my ladder in this case. I normally have a little 3/4, but I got the big one today. So now we're just going to raise it up. Bust. Alright. And there it is. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like. Let me see if I can pan this up. That's about as far back as I can go for right now. That's 33 feet in the air. That's all friction fit, these joints, so if you don't pull them snug, they will slip back down on you like I did. This thing is a little old, maybe getting a little worn, but there it is, 33 feet. It's a whole lot taller than this. And now all I do is I put on the adapter, see the radio is now hooked up to the coax. Alright. Let's see if I can hit my local repeater now. That answer was yes. Okay. Here's another repeater. Hit that one. That repeater I couldn't hit before. When I was just doing it from the ground, I can now hit it, and it's, I think, almost 20 miles that way. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, can't hit that one. That's kind of far away. That one's kind of... The repairs I'm doing now are really kind of far away, but they're places I travel. Alright, so by doing this, I've added about 2 repeaters to the list of the ones I can hit from here without the antenna. Now, how does this help you? Again, if you're a Baofeng user and you want to talk to your main group and you're kind of far away, getting an antenna up in the air can really help you quite a bit. So the antenna itself, if you buy them, they're somewhere around between $30 and $40. The coax you can buy ready-made. This is a 50-footer. Probably figure about $1 a foot. It's really gotten expensive. This is made by a company called MFJ. It's a 33-foot push-up pole. I think this is about $70, $80. I bought it from a friend for like $25. If you go the fishing pole route, you get the B&M Black Widow, a 20-footer for about 28 bucks. And that's about it. Like I said, this goes up and down pretty easy. The other nice thing about having this big pole is you can also turn this into an HF antenna for those low bands I talked about in the other video, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and that's really pretty cool. So that's all I got. Sorry for a couple of delays, a couple errors. You know, it's I stumble around every time I do these things, but it does get up there. The other nice thing about this is if you're operating like this and a thunderstorm shows up, you just lower the mast down, wait for the thunderstorm to pass, and then you can push it back up again. Really nice. So that's all I got for everybody. Stay safe, stay secure. Hope to hear you out there.